Hello there, and welcome to this meta video. My name's Dan. I'm a bit of a Warhammer veteran, although not really proving that very well because I just got the wooden spoon at a tournament last weekend. I hasten to add for being most unlucky, not for coming last. But anyway, we've had a few results. There's one that I didn't cover last week called the first Badge of Brawl. So let's just go through these, have a look at some lists, and then we'll discuss the updated meta. So the previous weekend we've got first Badge of Brawl, which was a 10 entrants in North America. 3-round tournament. All of these are 3-round tournaments. Then we have the New Old World, which I went to, which was 38 attendance, which I think is possibly the best attended tournament so far. There have been a few that, so there's 30, 32. So, it's the biggest one so far. It's a 3-gamer. There have been some bigger, but that don't fit. So my inclusion criteria are points limits between 1750 and 2500 and 10 players or more. So those are the inclusion criteria. So given those inclusion criteria, 38 is the biggest so far. Then there was the Old World at HFX over in, I believe, Canada. 12 people attended that one. Oh, pardon me. And then you got Metropolis Centre Old World, which was in Spain. Madrid, I think, from memory. And which I haven't got. And then we got BKG Old World Tournament, which was a 13-player event in Canada. There we go, Metropolis Centre Old World. So let's do the Metropolis Centre one first, actually. So High Elves won it, which is interesting because High Elves are doing pretty badly in the meta at the moment. So let's have a look at that list. Let's see what that did differently. Demons of Chaos coming second, and Tomb Kings coming in third. So the third place Tomb King list. I didn't check the points limit. That one I'll delete then. It's going well. Massively professional here, of course. Anyway, so Skaven winning an event. Now Skaven have been looking pretty terrible so far, so that's likely to be interesting to see what happened there. And then we'll look at Tomb Kings to see if Tomb Kings confirm. So you got High Priest, level 4 Wizard, High Priest, Mortuary Priest. Oh, no Dragon. That's interesting, and it did okay. Got some Tomb Swarms, Horse Archers, Ushabti, Great Bows. Again, excellent choice. Skelly Skirmishers, big block of Warriors, 2 big blocks of Warriors. 3 Tomb Scorpions, Necrosphinx, Necrosphinx. Casket. That's interesting. I'm presuming that they're playing the Necrosphinx with its broken rule set, so essentially it has 2 weapon profiles. One of them says you may make 1 additional attack with this weapon. That particular weapon profile has like Strength 10 and Monster Hunter. So, because it doesn't say you may only make 1 additional attack, the Necrosphinx, some people play it as you can choose its 5 basic attacks to have that profile, which is absolutely broken because it's like getting hit by 6 cannons basically. And this Necrosphinx isn't like 500 or 600 points. If it had that weapon profile, that's how much it'd be worth. So that's obviously not what they intended. But other than that, I'm not sure. Illusion Elementalism ×2. I'm not sure how that functioned. But well done, Drew Bishop Tsai. Hopefully I haven't massacred your name too much. Then we've got Jeff James. Oh, that's interesting. So Jeff James second, John Jeffries first. JJJJ. Right, okay, whatever. So this is who was this? This was Jeff James with Orcs and Goblins. So Goblin. Loads of Goblin characters. Level 4 Wizard ×2. Battle Standard Bearer. Walloper's One Hit Wonder. Presumably no Night Goblins. Okay, this is a very interesting list then. So we've got a big Goblin mob. a normal goblin mob. How are they making it good? This is interesting. I wonder how they're making it good. Then we've got some bolt throwers, doom diver, rock lobber. There's nothing here that stands out as being amazing. So, I don't know how that functions really. I mean, the wolf riders are a pain in the arse. And the goblin mobs are a bit rubbish. I don't know how that actually does damage, to be honest. Apart from bolt throwers, maybe? Because there's 3 of them. And then a couple of basically rock lobbers. Yeah. I mean, that's not a great list, but he seems to have done well with it. So that's interesting. I'd love to been a fly on the wall there. And then we've got John Jeffries with Skaven, who are awful at the moment. But so we've got a Grey Seer on a bell with Demonology, a Chieftain, Battle Standard Bearer, Warlord with the Giant Blade, and some Skaven Brew, and then an Engineer as a level 2 wizard. So we've got some Clan Rats, Rattling Gun, Storm Vermin, with the Cautious Shield on it. That's a super smart choice. Cautious Shield is like, I can't remember exactly what its rule is, but it's basically when this character's in a challenge, it can like add 3 to its save, but it doesn't get to attack. So that's just brilliant, because then it's up to like a 2-up save or something ridiculous. So that can really frustrate people. And the Cautious Shield is like this massive shield that he just like... so the Fang Leader goes, "Oi, you! Challenge!" And then hides under a shield. Which is hilarious. Got some Gutter Runners, Jezzails. Jezzails I think are pretty good. Warp Lightning Cannons I still think are pretty good. They're the only really good thing in Skaven. But he's got enough, I think... And Giant Rat Pack, that's pretty smart. 1 Pack Master? Is that legal? I thought you had to say 1 per X number of rats. Maybe I'm getting confused with something else. But yeah, I mean, it looks okay as a list, but like, I don't, I suppose the Jezzails and the Warp Lightning Cannons can kill stuff. The Gutter Runners can march block and just get in the way and just be a bit of a pain. I suppose 2 Warp Lightning Cannons and Jezzails shooting at monsters might be able to take 1 down a turn. Yeah, again, first Badge of Brawl, there's nothing really that... Bretonia are doing quite well at the moment, so it'd be interesting to see. This might be indicative of... So you got a Duke with... that's not a very good loadout. Yeah, you want the virtue of, like, or whatever it's called, the virtue of Monster Slayer and Killing Blow, heroism, I think, or the virtue of D3 extra attacks and hatred. Virtue of the Virtuous Knight or something stupid like that. But those are the 2 you want, the 2 expensive ones, basically. Everything else is a bit meh, bit of a waste of points. Gauntlet of the Jewel's quite cool. I mean, I can see what he's going for. He's going for something that's like a... But it's not going to do much other than in a challenge. It's not very scary, to be honest. It's quite expensive points-wise for not being very scary. Prophetess, that's perfectly sensible choice. Damsel, perfectly sensible choice again. It's got the Green Knight. Green Knight's a great pick. I love the Green Knight model and the rules. It's brilliant. And then he's got a Baron for some reason without a battle standard. Presumably that's his battle standard bearer and he just forgot to include it because you get it for free anyway. So, and he's got units of 6 mounted knights. Okay. 3 Pegasus knights. Okay. Yeah. And then a big block of bowmen, a couple of units of men at arms. I mean, yeah, this isn't a great list. Yeah, it's not a... I mean, he's got the Banner of Shalon, which is sensible because that's you don't get to stand and shoot against it, but it's only on 6 Knights of the Realm, so that's not gonna. They're not gonna do that much damage. So yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, he's got the grow. Yeah, I can see what he's going for. I mean, hopefully what he's done is he's put his men at arms in the middle of the board, and then basically he's going to take a charge with these guys and then counter-charge in the flank with the Knights of the Realm or something. But he needs more Pegasus Knights, especially... This is it's 2,000 points. You need more than one unit of Pegasus Knights. Because they are absolutely fantastic. Like, and Pegasus Knight's 186. Like, he could easily drop like the Peasant Bowman. Although, you know, Peasant Bowman are quite useful. He's also spent a lot of points on characters like, you know, these are all sensible choices, but that needs to be improved in terms of its loadout. That needs to probably be dropped. Yeah. And, you know, arguably the Green Knight doesn't fit very well in this selection. So, I mean, but it's not a terrible list. Like, it should do okay. So, you know, William should have expected a bit better. He probably just got unlucky. Yeah, looking at the points he got, it didn't really... That's not the result of somebody who's, like, bad at the game. That's the result of somebody who's just not rolled very well. You know, this sort of result, getting naught, is like that. Toshi got something wrong there in order to score 0 points. You know, bit of a cock up there. Steve here with like 104 points. That game was obviously a bit of a cock up. Something went wrong there. Yeah, because like even in my games at the weekend where, you know, I rolled terribly and like the general and half the army ran off, although it shouldn't have done. I'm a div and I forgot the actual rules. I forgot about falling back in good order for failing panic tests. Absolute idiot. Kicking myself now. But anyway, even if like with like half my army running off, I still managed to get like 500, 600, 700 points. So like even the games where I was pretty terrible, I still got a decent points haul. So yes. Okay, so that's that. And then we got so that was the first Badge of Brawl. Then we got the new old world. Matt Howley won, so we'll have a look at him. Adrian McWalter, have a look at him. There was a chaos off on the top table at the end of the tournament. I think it was Stephen Toll who I was talking to at the end. Yeah, it would be because his son finished above him. He'll be livid. Anyway, and Mark Wildman with his Beastman as usual. Okay, so yeah, that's the right order. So Warriors of Chaos, Kirk, who beat Stephen, I think. Chaos Lord on Dragon, obvi. Just with Favour of the Gods. He had nothing special on it. It's just a Chaos Lord with the Dragon trying to save points. It worked quite well for him, obviously. Level 4 Sorcerer Lord, On Foot, Spell Familiar, Favour of the Gods, Enchanting Aura, Battle Magic. Yeah, I mean, Enchanting Aura, I'm not sure that's much cop. And Battle Magic, I'm not sure what he's doing with that. He did have quite a lot of Marauders, I noticed, going around. Forsaken are just, like, amazing. They're the best. Like, they do so much for what they are. And they're so cheap for all that they can do. I mean, they're brilliant. I desperately need to get some. And then you got some Chosen Chaos Knights, Sensible, and some Dragon Ogres. Yeah, I mean, he could have put those Dragon Ogres in like a unit of 1 and a unit of 2, but he's obviously wanted the 3 for some reason. Maybe he's got like a spell in Battle Magic that he uses to... He's got Mark of Chaos Undivided. Maybe he's got a spell in the in Battle Magic that he uses to essentially, if Dragon Ogres get hit by like a vortex, then they get bonuses basically. So maybe that's that. Then you got AD Mac, who Adrian McWalter, who is again an AOS veteran as well. He's got Chaos Lord. Yeah, he's done the sensible thing. Bedazzling Helm, so you -1 to hit. Mark and Nurgle, so he's basically going to be hitting on 5s at best, re-rolling 6s to hit. It's just horrible. Then you got Sorcerer Lord, Mark and Nurgle on a steed. Again, that's all sensible. Forsaken, just 2 units. Then some Knights, then a couple of Chariots, then some Dragon Ogres. So yeah, that's a pretty solid list. That's a very solid list. Yeah, that is a very solid list. And also Isn't it? Oh no, it's one Chaos Lord per 1,000 points, isn't it? And then one Sorcerer Lord separately per 1,000 points. I think. I cannot recall, however. Let's just have a quick look because I'm having a brain fart. Apologies. It's one Exalted Champion or Sorcerer Lord. You're allowed one Chaos Lord. Yeah, I mean, some of these charts are just dumb. So it should be one Chaos Lord or Demon Prince or Sorcerer Lord per 1,000 points, in my opinion. And then Exalted Champion, Aspiring Champion, and Exalted Sorcerers should be just unlimited, basically. And for some reason, you can make an Exalted Champion your Battle Standard Bearer instead of an Aspiring Champion, which, you know, look at the stat line. I mean, obviously, you'll make it the Exalted because it's better, more wounds, whatever. Not more toughness, but there is stuff you can do about that. But, you know, I mean, but no Battle Standard Bearer here. I think Forsaken Immune Psychology, there might be. Forsaken are immune. Yeah, they are immune to psychology. So, like rerolling Panic and. Oh, they are so good for 19 points, aren't they? Good lord. Yeah, and Khorne gives them hatred of everybody. I mean, Swift Stride in heavy infantry is amazing. Yeah, because you're pursuing 3d6 as well. Like D3 attacks each, you know, and they can get all of these. Like, the worst out of all of them is AP2. Like, that's the worst effect they get. Just ridiculous. Right. Anyway, so, yeah, that's a pretty good list. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm taking inspiration for when I decide to get competitive. Then we've got some Orcs and Goblins that actually won it. So, Black Orc Warboss on Wyvern. Yeah. Trollhide Trousers, obviously. I mean, Trollhide Trousers are just an obvious take because they do this thing, wherever it is. Magic items. Trollhide Trousers. Choppiest Chopper gives him strength 5, I think. AP3, which is just great. AP3's really, really good. Trollhide Trouser, +1 armor save, and regen 5. So it's just awesome. Awesome. So he's got basically a 3-up save in combat, and Wyvern just has armor, doesn't it? It doesn't have hide or whatever. Then you got a Night Goblin, level 4. Night Goblin. Presumably that one's also a level 4, and it's got the Ruby Ring of Ruin for more magic. A big boss, Battle Standard Bearer with Walloper's one hit wonder, which Walloper's one hit wonder is great. That's another fantastic little item on a Battle Standard Bearer. So smart, because essentially if your Battle Standard Bearer is in threat, you just say, alright, I'm going to do this, which gives you, so you call out a challenge with your Battle Standard Bearer, you get Strike First, Strength 10, AP 3 Magical, just great. You know, you got a hit obviously, but still, that's pretty good. You know, anyway, so he's got a Black Orc mob because he has to. He's got a Black Orc war boss, so you got to take so for every war boss, Black Orc war boss, you got to take a mob, and for every mob you got to take a Black Orc war boss, so they can't be taken, you know, you got to have both. So he's gone for the minimum size, so they're just like, that's the dragon tax basically. Night Goblins with 2, small unit of Night Goblins with 2 fanatics, small unit of Night Goblins with 3, small unit of Night Goblins with 3. Now, then some other cool stuff, including an Arachnarok. I don't know why I didn't include that as a mount, especially for a level 4 wizard, because you can use the wire magic on a level 4 wizard to do some massive 18-inch bubbles that are really, really super effective. Yeah, that's interesting why he didn't do that. Anywho, there was a rules query that essentially, and I think this player had been doing this, essentially, if there were fanatics left on the table, he was saying that unit wasn't destroyed for victory points purposes. Maybe it wasn't this player, I just thought I'd have a quick look, because, like, you know, Here's Fanatics. So they're saying basically, if you wipe out the Night Goblin mob, because the Fanatics are still on the table and they're still part of the unit technically, they, you only get your 25% of the value for blah 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 blah. However, a unit may so what I'd say is that Fanatics are never part of the unit, right? They are. You can include 0 to 3 Fanatics when you purchase this unit. But you don't upgrade a model to it, so it's not a member of the unit that is upgraded to a Fanatic. You're just including the Fanatics. The Fanatics are released, so a concealing unit releases its Fanatics. So they're part of the unit, and then they're released from the unit, and it's no longer part of the unit. In fact, arguably, it was never part of the unit. I mean, indeed, they don't really exist. They exist as placeholders because you can't really target them. So I'd say that essentially, if you kill the Night Goblin unit, and even if there are some Fanatics flying around from that unit, you don't get, they don't count as part of the unit. They never do. They are never part of the unit. They don't get combat res from it. They don't get rank bonus. There's nothing that they have to do with the unit apart from that's where they start the game. They are deployed when at a later point from within the unit, but they are not part of the unit, I would argue. But that probably needs an FAQ. Cool. So, but that's a good list. I can see why I did well. Loads of Fanatics, basically, and actually loads of cool stuff and a dragon. Yeah, Bolt Throwers, Doom Diver. This is pretty classic to sit behind a Fanatic screen, so yeah. Good. Right, and then we had, so that's the new old world, Dan, whatever his name was, Dan Buchanan hosted that. Great host, lovely guy. Right, then we've got the old world at HFX, which was in, I just need to delete that Spanish event, don't I? Because it didn't have enough points. It was 1,500. Cool. Then we had the old world at HFX, and this is where I find out this was a 1,500 point thing. Where's the... Oh, for God's sakes. I wish this was better at telling you what the actual is going on. Let's have a look at... Yeah, it's 1,500. Okay, so the old world at HFX is a 1,500 points, so I can't include it, which is really annoying. But I don't want to be too loose with my inclusion criteria, because when tournaments start to happen everywhere, all the time, updating this is going to become a nightmare. Okay, so Lord of Change, Demon Prince, Brims, Furies. Oh, that's interesting. Taking lots of Furies as core units. Yeah, and then some Screamers and Flamers with level 3 Wizard in the Flamers. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty sensible. That's a pretty good list for 1,500 points. I mean, I do quite like Pink Horrors. I think they're pretty cool. Anyway, we had BKG, which... oh no, the victory points are surprising. Oh no, there's one that... Ogre Kingdom's getting a stomping 2,000 points. Well done. Well done, that man. I really like ogres. Oh, they've got no lists. So I suppose all I can say is that I'd love to see what the Dark Elf list was, and that High Elf, and that one actually. I'd love to see what's going on there. But anyway, they've not decided to. Oh, there are some lists. Excellent. The ogre guy smashed at the end. What's he taken? Tyrant on Stonehorn with Tenderizer. I mean, yeah. Probably should have done that. Bulls. Yeah, Mornfang Cav. Yeah. Mornfang Cav are just they're brilliant. But yeah, that's sensible, having the Thunder Tusk Riders. I think they're pretty good as well. Mornfang Cav and Thunder Tusk Riders. You can build a list around them, really. But this, I think, having him on Stonehorn might be a bit of a mistake. I don't know. I'd love it if Evan's listening, if he can send us a message whether that worked out or not. Because in my experience, well, my experience was that essentially people just keep bloody challenging it, so you can only ever kill one model, your impact hits are more or less wasted, and eventually you just get combat rezzed away. But then that's partially the fact that I kept rolling 10s for my leadership check. 10s or 11s, they seem to be the most common leadership value. So yeah, that's the tournaments that we've had so far. And let's refresh the meta. So I've added some colours over here now. So we've got 348 results so far, like entrance into tournaments. So that means we're starting to get some more reliable data. Bretonia here, 43. You know, basically when all of these are up to 30, then we can start to do some proper parametric testing. So we've got some pretty basic stuff at the moment. Parametric means it relies on like normal distributions and like averages and stuff like that. So they're just, oh, for God's sake, click the wrong one. So yeah, so the top of the win percentage is still Lizardman, 68%. But again, there's only 8 entrants in tournaments, so that's really not enough data. These over here, basically, if it's got, so this first column, if it's green, that means the win percentage is like top tier, win percentage middle tier, win percentage bottom tier, and the arrows are about reliability. So essentially green and green means really high win percentage, really good reliability. So Tomb Kings really, you know, they're top tier in terms of win percentage, but they're kind of mid in terms of reliability. Wood Elves are top tier at the moment in terms of win percentage. However, they are bottom in terms of reliability. So win percentage, they're doing really, really well. However, people are getting, well, as you can see here. So essentially, standard deviation tells you what a normal whatever player is achieving. So a Wood Elf player, a normal Wood Elf player is 54% win percentage plus or minus this. So a normal Wood Elf player will achieve between 86% and 22% in a tournament, okay? So like on a 3-game tournament, which is pretty much all we've seen at the moment, you're expecting to win 1 or 2 games. 1 to 3 games, I'd say, was a normal result for a Wood Elf player at a 3-game tournament. You know, at a 5-game tournament, 2 to 4, I think. 22, yeah, 1 to 4. So that's very variable. Whereas Tomb Kings, for instance, a normal player will achieve somewhere between 30% to 82%, which is much less variable. Whereas your Dark Elf player will achieve, a normal Dark Elf player, again, these tests aren't accurate because there's nowhere near enough data for this to really be particularly accurate. So I'm actually just not going to talk about it because it'd be wrong to do so. It wouldn't help the analysis. So in terms of, so what we really don't want to see, right, is this. And it's obviously Ogre Kingdoms. They're reliably rubbish. So, oh God, I've got to take them to the next tournament now, haven't I? Oh, why am I attracted to stuff that's at the bottom of the meta and proving I'm going to prove society wrong? Idiot, Dan. Don't do that. Take Chaos. They're good. Anyway, it's normal for an Ogre player not to win a game at a tournament. And, you know, the point is, they're bottom tier in terms of win percentage, but they're top tier in terms of reliability. So they're reliably at the bottom. Skaven, however, they were reliably at the bottom last week, but because of some really good results, they've become like bottom tier in terms of variability, which means although their win percentage puts them like really, really low, however, so for instance, it's normal for a Skaven player to win between 0 to 74%. Again, low figures, so I shouldn't talk about this. But if these figures were repeated later, I'm just using these as an example. I'm not saying this is true of Skaven because I don't know because there's not enough data. But you know, if this is repeated when there's like 110 results in this column, then this would mean it would be normal for a Skaven player to achieve somewhere between 0 to 4 wins in a 5-game tournament, which is obviously nuts. That what that means is that there's a huge variability. What that would mean is there's a huge variability in lists, and there's one list that does really well, and probably a load of lists that are terrible. And there's a few lists that are really good, and everybody's taking them, apart from people who are trying other things, and the people trying other things are failing miserably. So that would essentially say that internal balance in the Skaven is shot, and external. So yeah, Ogre Kingdoms, basically, again, there's not enough results, so I'm just not going to talk about it really, to be honest. Orcs and Goblins have they're really unreliable in terms of player results, but they are getting quite mid in terms of win percentages. So what that suggests is that people are getting used to using them. Orcs and Goblins have got the next book coming out, so that'll be interesting. We'll have a look at that in a sec. And High Elves, again, they're looking like they're in a very, very similar spot to Orcs and Goblins, to be honest. Not very reliable. Like, people are still figuring them out. And the win percentage has come up. They were like 15th or 16th last week, so that's doing pretty well. Demons of Chaos, again, not enough results. Bretonnia were top tier last week. They've dropped down to sort of mid tier this week. We've got a lot more results come in over the week, and they are looking absolutely bang average. Like, this is really super strong. This is exactly what you want to see in the meta. Like, Kingdom of Bretonnia, this is saying it's been really well written, like 50% win percentage, 25% either way. So a normal player, wins between 25% and 75% of their games. Absolutely well done, GW. That's perfect. Tomb Kings are looking broken. So there's something broken in Tomb Kings. I know exactly what it is, but I'm going to talk about it. Well, it's the Necrosphinx, which we've already talked about. That's part of the problem. There's another problem in Tomb Kings as well. I'm going to do a video later on this week where I'm going to talk about my wish list of stuff that I'd like to see in a future FAQ. This figure down here, just in case anybody's wondering, is essentially asking how different is this and this, and the answer is not very different at all. So what I've done here with points is I've included like some kind of tally for draws. So essentially the fact that there are quite a lot of draws in the old world happening, but they're not making much results to the overall meta. So I hope that's been helpful. Oh no, I said we'd have a quick look at Warhammer.com, WarhammerCommunity.com, because Old World Almanac, sound of pounding drums and bellowed war cries are getting louder, which can only mean one thing: the Orc and Goblin tribes are getting closer to I don't know why I'm doing that with my voice. I'm annoying myself, so I'm going to stop it. Right, Orcs and Goblins and tribes. So they've just written the stupidity rule, which is okay. Stupidity is a force equalizer. What stops trolls from being one of the best units in the game is that sometimes they have to stand around instead of charging. Yeah. Because she is excellent if she's able to operate freely, but she'd be too excellent for her points. We try to make all of our rules thematic but balanced, and things like this even it up. Who's JTY? I love the fact that they're actually talking to people who... just JTY, him. I think I feel like I should know who that is. So basically the big news is the Nomadic Roar is a tried and tested classic all-mounted tribe of Orcs and Goblins on the warpath. So all-mounted sounds good. That sounds right up my alley. Okay, so they've done us some pictures, and the Troll Horde is something new and something very cool. We asked ourselves whether it's possible to make a troll army. We've got the Hag, Ogdruts, Swamp Digger, who's an orc shaman who thinks he's a troll. Presumably that's that model there. Don't know. He might be more intelligent than that, but it's hard to tell. And I think this is... okay, so I think this is the Nomadic Horde. This looks pretty cool. I really like that, and I really like the fact that you can use like the new Goblin Wolf cavalry models, Snarlfang Rippers or whatever they're called from AOS, and those models are sweet. So that looks like that's right up my alley. I've got to finish with Khemri first. There's lots of stuff in... I'd love it if they did like a Black Orc cavalry sort of thing. Anyway, there's lots of stuff in the Orc and Goblin list which is impetuous. So that means a lot of it has to... So, because they used to have this rule called... squabbling something or other. They basically just used to fall out with each other. And you'd often get two units not doing anything because they were squabbling, basically. Whereas this one, impetuous, is way better because it means you can't rely on them standing still, and they might charge into stupid combats. So you plunk your dragon down in front of some goblins and they go, we're gonna have it, and they have a go and then die, which is funny but cool. Well, not goblins, orcs might have a go at that. I don't think goblins have got it. Anyway, Ogdrut's Swamp Digger. There doesn't seem to be a picture of Ogdrut's, does there? I mean, but that's like the old orc shaman model, so maybe they've not done the model yet. I don't know. Now, this is interesting. Danny here says the game's been incredibly well received. And it's great there's so much passion. The scope of the project has grown. So that's really interesting. Animosity, that's what it was called, not squabbling. Animosity. So there'll be another article tomorrow, so we can talk about that tomorrow. But they're doing loads of troll models. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, yeah. What's next? Yeah, so they're saying it's going to take quite a long time. Sorry, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. They're saying it's going to take us quite a long time to bring back all 9 factions. So quite a long time in GW world, I think, means probably 2 years. They seem to still be really struggling with supply chains at the moment. Like, I sometimes I just wonder how Games Workshop managed to keep going, because like they just run out of stuff all the time, and it's like you would make loads of money if you actually made the products you were trying to sell. That would be great if you actually had them available on shelves and we could buy them. That would be good, and that is literally your only job is to make the stuff for us to buy. That's why you've got factories, right? But they wind me up so much so often. Like, it's just so stupid. Like, how can you run a business where you can't even produce? Anyway, shut up, Dan. It's just but this is all cool. Like, I love Orcs and Goblins. I've never had an army. I'm pretty convinced I'm going to get an army of pigs. I love pigs, like, as animals. I think they're wonderful. Yeah, I like sausages too. Really like sausages. My butcher's is called Mountains, which is interesting. I think the most... Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'm waffling on again as usual. Cool. So we've got some trolls, we've got mounted stuff, and then essentially the rest of the book allows you to sort of steer towards, like, night goblins is like one thing that you can steer towards. You can steer towards an orc horde. You could, you could steer towards like a black orc horde if you wanted to, with the current list. So there's plenty of choice as to armies. I can't wait to get my hands on it and have a look at it and then start playing around with lists. These models are all going to be back, which are, they're wonderful to paint. They're not. They're pretty annoying. But they do look really cool when they're done. And this guy actually is pretty fun to paint because of all the fur. I love painting fur. Maybe that's just me. That giant is like my favourite. It's not the Marauder giant. Where's the Marauder giant? People have a lot of fondness for the Marauder giant. I can't find it here. It's the one before that, but this was my favourite giant that they ever did. I absolutely love that model, so I will definitely be getting one of them. I just think it's brilliant. It's just a wonderful It's just anyway. Yeah, so I love all that. So can't wait to get my hands on it. But anyway, that's the meta show with a bit of greenskins thrown in at the end for fun. So I hope that was helpful. Again, if you've got any comments, let me know down below. If you've got any rules that you think are broken and need fixing or whatever, please do let me know in the comments, and I'll have a look at whether I can see there to go on my wish list. I've got a few things in mind at the moment. Split profiles, I think I've found like an elegant but simple solution to it. And but anyway, I'll say toodaloo, and I'll catch you around soon. Toodaloo.